Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and of course, continuing on with the Spider-Man marathon. Now we've come to Spider-Man in the MCU, and because, as you know, after The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and it wouldn't be until 2 years later when we would get Spider-Man officially in the MCU, and this time Tom Holland and his debut in Civil War, same goes for Black Panther. And after Civil War, then would come along two spin-off movies, I guess you could say, for Spider-Man and Black Panther. And of course, Spider-Man came first, and which being Spider-Man Homecoming. So, Spider-Man Homecoming, this was, you know, I mean, again, because Civil War was the official start for Spider-Man, but then, you know, when the first movie happened, Homecoming, and also because with the cast, of course, you know, Tom Holland, Zendaya, as you know, MJ, and there's also, I mean, Tony Revolver, however you pronounce his last name, yeah. As Flash, and there's also Ned, played by Jacob. I don't know how you pronounce his last name. And Laura Harry as Liz. And now she's the first girl that, you know, Peter has eyes for. And also Angry Rice, if I'm saying the full name right, as Betty Brant. And actually, because if we first see Betty in high school and such, and obviously, because, you know, before, like, she would go on to work at the Daily Bugle. Anyways, but, and also, Michael Keaton, of course, as the Vulture. And the opening to Spider-Man Homecoming is pretty cool, because it takes place right after, like, the events of the Avengers, where, okay, what's his real name? I forget. Like, Vulture's, okay, Adrian, yeah. So Adrian, like, and his men, like, they're, you know, because they're construction workers and they're cleaning up the mess until, like, I guess CIA or something like that, you know, they come in and handle the rest. And this really, because this totally hits Adrian and his men, because, you know, and as Adrian says, you know, gentlemen, the world is changing. It's time we change it ourselves, or however he says it. Anyways, but and they steal, and they manage to grab some of the alien technology during when they were cleaning up the site, and they used it for, you know, like, new machines and so on, and which of course includes, say, you know, the Vulture. And yeah, the Vulture is really cool in this, with, you know, like, the wings and his jacket that he has on, and the furry collar, just like how a Vulture has. That is awesome. So, anyways, and, trying to remember, and some stuff, like, okay, with the appearances of course, of Jon Favreau as Happy, and, like, Happy being in all three of the Spider-Man films, of course, and being there alongside with Tony, well, you know, Peter, I should say, but still Tony, and Robert Downey Jr.'s appearance as Tony Stark / Iron Man. Like, yeah, it's really cool, and because, you know, I remember I read this, that originally Nick Fury was to be, you know, helping out Peter or something like that, just like what Tony was doing in this film, but it was instead, Tony Stark was instead chosen for that, because, well, let's face it, he was there from the beginning of, you know, recruiting Peter into, you know, the heroes and making him an Avenger in Avengers Infinity War. So there you go. That makes total sense. But also because, let me see, some scenes like, for example, a montage of what Peter Parker's doing, you know, in the neighborhood. And, like, this one guy sees him on top of a roof and, like, you're that Spider-Man guy on YouTube. And did you also notice this one guy who's holding a beatbox? That was Kirk Thatcher. And he was... I saw an article where, you know, some people speculate he could be... It could be the same character that he played in Star Trek 4, but no, I don't think so. It's just, you know, probably just a joke, and, you know, stuff like that. So, you get the point. But anyways, so, and also, yeah, Captain America's appearance. I almost forgot, and it's pretty funny because apparently, with Captain America doing these films, like, this is Captain America, stay in school, or so you got detention. Pretty funny, especially because when there's a video of him like introducing the coach. The coach is on this side, and he points to this way because that's where the coach is supposed to be. And yeah, when Ned finds out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, pretty funny, and and he drops the Lego Death Star. Oh my gosh. I saw a video where apparently it shows that the Lego Death Star cannot easily be destroyed, cannot easily break. Okay. And those times where, like, say, Aunt May was getting hit on by, like, say, Tony and some guy at a restaurant that they were eating at, I don't know. Some cool, and the action sequences, like when Peter and the other school kids, like, they're on a school field trip, and trying to remember, like, and like Peter helping and saving them, on an elevator, and the Spidey webbed wings, I'm not a big fan of those. Like, I've gotten so used to, and I've gotten so used to, like, say, Spider-Man just swinging from web to web, But anyways, I'm trying to remember what else. Oh, yeah. It's revealed that Adrian, a.k.a. the Vulture, is Liz's father. And when they're going to homecoming, the prom and such, and Adrian, like, has, like, the talk with Peter, but really, because he does find out that, Peter is Spider-Man. Like, it's coming to him, and, like, there's one shot where we see his eyes, and just, it's like, oh my gosh, he's figuring this out, he knows. And he has a gun, and, like, he says, because I will, don't tell her, and blah, 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 because I will kill you and everybody you loved. So, yeah. Things seem to be okay, like the talk and such, just a warning for Peter. And, like, Peter, unfortunately, has to bail out on Homecoming, and he, like, faces off against, well, there was this one other villain, I guess. Like, he had the weapon, and, like, at one point, Adrian, like, destroys the first one, and then gives the weapon to the next person who becomes that villain. I can't remember what the name is. I don't, but anyways. And also, Donald Glover's appearance, I forgot about that, and, like, Peter trying to disguise his voice, and, I'm not a girl, or I'm not a boy, I'm a boy. It's funny. And that one scene where Peter, like, he saves people from as a ship is being cut in half, and Tony's telling him to stay out of it, but he didn't. But Peter did what he had to do, and unfortunately, because Tony, like, kind of scolds Peter, and that he has to give up the suit. Peter does, and he goes back to his old uniform that he made himself, and because he tells Aunt May that he got fired, but in the Stark Industry, but really he no longer working with Tony, and, like, the Spider-Man suit was taken from him, and so, like, he goes off and faces Vulture on himself, and that whole sequence where he's trying to, stop Vulture, and he contacts Happy to let him know about this, and oh yeah, because, like, the Avengers Tower, like, Tony was selling that, and stuff that was being transferred to a plane, and it was in disguise, and Vulture hijacked it, like, was breaking into it and destroying it, and Peter coming in to save the day, and even at one point, because when it crashes, and also with Vulture, like, he tries to fly off at one point on a beach, and Peter's trying to save him because his wings are going to blow up, and eventually he does, and Peter leaves a note and has Adrian tied up to a web, and Happy coming in, just, yeah. And unfortunately, because when, back at school, Liz is being transferred to a new school and going to be moving to a new home, and a bit of dialogue between Liz and Peter the last time they would talk, and Yeah, and then, like, Peter gets a text from Happy, and I like this part because where MJ is just, what are you hiding? I'm just kidding. No, I don't care. MJ kind of changed a lot. Like, her appearance in the first film and in the second, which, of course, we're going to get to the second one later. And the ending, like, Tony and Happy and Peter at Avengers headquarters, and Tony offering him the Spider-Man suit again, and the Iron Spider suit, which, of course, being teased for Avengers Infinity War. And Pepper Potts' cameo, because Peter thinks this was a test, this was yet again a test, and when he leaves, Pepper comes in and it was not a test, and I think Tony is kind of embarrassed by it, and just, because he made it so real, like he made it really think it was a test, so, and even Happy gives Tony an engagement ring that apparently, because Happy was holding since 2008, because of the events of Iron Man, so, but I'm not sure. I feel like I heard there was an error to that, of like how long he was holding, he held on to that engagement ring. I don't know, but, anyways, so the ending to it, like, there's like a bag on his bed, and it's the Spider-Man suit, and because when he has it on and when he takes the Spider-Man mask off, we see Aunt May's behind him as she returns home. I remember me and Lil Blue, we saw this in theaters, and when Aunt May popped up, seeing Peter plain as day in the spider suit, I was just like, yes, because come on, at least Aunt May and like Peter's secret identity, like, can't be kept by everybody, so, and maybe not even say Aunt May. And when Aunt May, because the last line that Aunt May gives, what the fuck, cuts. That was perfect, because of course it got a big laugh from everybody. And the end credit scenes, like, one with Adrian in prison, and he comes across Scorpion, and obviously, because one thing, he has a scorpion tattoo on his neck, and, oh gosh, yeah. The end credit scene, after all the credits are finished, with Captain America, is pretty funny, and like the last line he has is, how many more of these? And then that's the end. That is hilarious. Tony Stark and Steve Rogers cameos in this were pretty good. So, and that's the thing. You know what? They can keep doing this kind of thing. Like, they don't have to, like as of now, if they were to come back, they can do something like that. Just like how they appeared in Homecoming. You know what I mean? But anyways, so Spider-Man Homecoming. It's great. And I totally forgot to mention this. Tony's suit being another Jarvis, but, and Tony, well, I meant Peter Parker, sorry. Peter Parker's Spider-Man suit has that kind of talking computer like Jarvis, and he calls her Karen, and voiced by Jennifer Connelly, who is married to Paul Bettany, and Paul Bettany voicing Jarvis. I remember my mom said something about that, like two computers in real life married. You get my point. Anyways, so as I was saying, Spider-Man Homecoming, it's great. And how do I rate this? Well, 10 out of 10. Why not? I give it 10 out of 10 stars. And oh my gosh, and I totally forgot about this. I gave it a 10 out of 10 for Spider-Man 2. Because I completely didn't realize that, and I forgot that I didn't rate that. Anyways, so back on Homecoming, 10 out of 10 stars, and you guys let me know what you think of Spider-Man Homecoming, what you thought of my review. Leave comments as always, and yeah, so give it a like. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Spider-Man Homecoming. More reviews on your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward. And I'll see you guys in the next video/review. And of course, the Spider-Man Marathon is still continuing. Up next, well, in between Homecoming and the next one, Far From Home, in between those, we got an animated Spider-Man film. You know which one it is. Stay tuned for that tomorrow. Take care and peace out.